11 o'clock this evening for virtually all of northeast Kansas. It's not everybody. Areas like Washington and Marysville, Belleville are much less likely to see any sort of severe weather the remainder of this evening, as a weak cold front has already moved through those counties, and it will continue making its way south and eastwards. We have a couple of severe storm warnings in place right now, and I'm going to share this feed onto my Facebook wall to make sure we get as many folks aware that we're doing this as possible, of course. So again, the heat index right now in Topeka is still 102 degrees. Concordia is behind the cold front, and still 104 is what it feels like right now. So that's an extremely high heat index any time of the year. But again, there's a weak cold front moving into this, and it's a very unstable air mass in place, and is setting off some storms that are severe. Here's a live look from Cloud County Community College, looking off to the southeast right now. We have the storm clouds just south of there. Manhattan, the severe storms are kind of just to the west of Manhattan and kind of building toward the Little Apple. Not as much moving toward, but more building toward at this point. So Manhattan, parts of Raleigh County are in a warning at this point. Council Grove, supercell storm off to your northwest coming towards you. And then I'm watching this. This is an area from our WIBW transmission site. And looking to the north, this line you see of clouds are becoming vertical right there. That's the cold front itself. Now out ahead of this line, this is looking north, so you're looking across, looking up toward Onega here, toward Silver Lake and those kind of areas. That's what you're looking toward here. So that line is moving toward an area where the atmosphere is extremely unstable. There's 6,000 joules per kilogram of convective available potential energy, which is just means a lot of instability. It means the atmosphere could have severe storms just right ahead of that line. Right now, from Manhattan to Hiawatha, things are quiet, but along that line is where things are probably going to get out of control fairly soon here. So checking out the radar, we just had a new severe storm warning issued that does include Manhattan at this point. It shows the storm moving to the southeast or east-southeast. So there's the new one right there, the National Weather Service issuing this for parts of Geary, Pottawatomie, and Riley counties. Hail the size of a $half possible. That's 1.25 inches diameter. When you get to 1.5, it's ping pong ball size. But this is a hail about 1.25 inches in diameter. So Fort Riley's included in that. Manhattan's included in that. St. George is in this as well. And let's check out where the largest hail would be in that storm. It's probably going to be a small area with the largest of the hail. Now, the Severe Storm Watch does mention the potential for hail up to the size of baseballs this evening, so we have to watch for that. But showing it close to Keats, just the west, kind of the west side of Manhattan, really, and probably moving into Manhattan shortly. So that storm with hail about the size of a $half possible moving into Manhattan any time now. Junction City, you've got a strong storm moving in, possibly hail the size of quarters. Southern parts of Clay County, we've already seen some strong storms with hail about the size of quarters and extremely strong winds as well, extremely heavy rain as well. You'll notice this activity is not moving particularly fast. This is 1 hour of radar. And notice in the southern part of Clay County, it has been raining there heavily for a full hour. So no doubt we'll have some flash flooding issues with this. Some spots could pick up 4 or 5 inches of rain, while neighboring areas not far away could pick up very little or nothing. So I mentioned a moment ago, I'm watching that line from the Maple Hill transmission tower camera and waiting for it to develop into more storms. And I really think that's going to pop here soon. This is it on the satellite imagery. This skinny line right there of clouds that's not impressive now, but just to the south of that is where the instability is extremely high right now. So the chance of seeing a severe storm develop around Holton, heading for Topeka, Onega, Westmoreland, is very, very likely. So there's a disconnect from close to Manhattan until you get up really to northern Missouri and parts of Iowa where the line continues. But across our area, there's been kind of this broken area where we haven't seen anything fill in just yet, but it most likely will. So again, we have hail the size of $half moving toward Manhattan right now. Folks around Junction City and Fort Riley could be dealing with hail that large as well. It's very unlikely to be any sort of tornado situation this evening with this, as very heavy rain is likely. Of course, we're going to see some hail the size of baseballs possibly, and damaging winds. And the mention in the Weather Service watch was that winds of 85 miles per hour could happen with some of these. So looking closer in here at Junction City, again, you have some hail in the area as well. These storms, it's not just one cell that's organized and moving in a direction. They're kind of splitting at times and going in different directions and actually growing over toward Manhattan. So right now there's heavy, big hail close to Solomon, Kansas at this point. If you're planning to travel down I-70 heading west, that might not be a good idea right now, as you probably encounter some very large hail on the interstate. Now on Supercast, this is the HRRR model. By 8 o'clock, it fills in this area that's currently dry with storms, likely severe storms. It would be almost hard for a rain shower to develop there and not become severe. By 9 o'clock, it really just wants to develop this one big blob across Shawnee and Osage County. I would not count on that exactly happening. The computer model will update about 8:15 or 8:30. I don't think it'll look like that when it comes out. Most likely this will be more of a line diving southeast by that point. But this evening we are looking at the risk of seeing hail the size of baseballs, wind gusts as high as 80 miles per hour possible with this, and some flash flooding. I can't rule out tornadoes completely. It's very unlikely that we would see a tornado risk in the area as the conditions just aren't right for it. Now, I'm going to go back to that graphic I talked about a minute ago with from Maple Hill, our transmission tower. And what you'll see there, again, this is the cold front itself. Some of these clouds are becoming more vertical. So anything along that line that really extends over close to Holton and up toward the Atchison area, anything along that line of clouds could become a supercell thunderstorm within 10-15 minutes. So we're seeing the clouds go vertical there along this cold frontal boundary. Now, once we get past sunset, I'm not sure how the chances will play out at that point. I certainly wouldn't rule it out, it ripping apart there, but right now we're watching that line to see when more development happens. And for folks that are currently in the line of the storm, Manhattan is in the risk of seeing hail the size of $50 at any moment. In Concordia, everything is fine. Looking out across Manhattan right now, that is from the Stormont Vale Health North Manhattan campus right there. So you can see the conditions. I'm going to check out the other view in Manhattan as well. We've got the camera there from the Flint Hills Discovery Center, kind of on the south side of town, closer to the river. I'm going to bring that camera up too. And you'll see it's getting a little windy there, so back up to that camera. This is again the view from the Flint Hills Discovery Center in Manhattan, kind of the south side of town. You're seeing the strong wind starting to get into town there. I don't see hail falling yet there over by the Museum of Art and Light, the new place there. Actually, maybe some hail falling there. So looking at Manhattan, close to downtown, I think we actually have some hailstones falling there. So in Manhattan, close to downtown, looks like hailstones falling to me there. This is not going to be bigger than the size of a quarter from what I can see on the camera here, but that's 3rd and Pierre is what we're looking at right there, and it looks like some hail falling in Manhattan right now. Again, this is a severe storm that's in place in Manhattan. Severe storm warning in place. The winds don't look like they're quite to 60 miles per hour, but certainly strong. And again, that's the live view there from near downtown Manhattan, looking to the northwest across the city. Still 94, and it's peak at 92 in Manhattan, so there's a lot of energy still in the atmosphere with this extreme heat and extreme humidity, with the temperatures high and the heat index values are still above 100 degrees in many spots. Checking out the view from the north side of Manhattan, it's not as wild there at Stormont Vale Health Manhattan campus at this point. Now looking out from Council Grove from the TCT broadband cam, you can see the northwest, that's the supercell storm that's close to Manhattan at this point. And again, I'm still watching this line right here. You can see the storm clouds becoming a bit more vertical. And I call them storm clouds. The clouds are becoming more vertical at this point. They're not quite storms yet, but this line that extends across parts of Jackson County over to Atchison and Donovan County, I really think it's going to fill in with storms right here over the next couple of hours, very likely. Back on the radar, this is the Capitol Federal Live Storm Tracker, and you can see the severe storm warning that's in place right now. That does include the city of Manhattan. And I just showed it looked like some hail about the size of $50 that's moving across the downtown area right now. Again, it's not baseball size or anything like that. And it's not a tornado risk. Please don't concern yourself with that kind of thing. But again, looking out there, you can see the downpour of rain, some of the heavy rain there, and the north side of town moving in. And it looked like we had some hail falling there a moment ago, so maybe a little break in the activity downtown. But we'll see more moving in soon. This is not a tornado situation by any means, from what I can see. All right, so again, from the camera I was watching from near Maple Hill, we're watching this line right here that goes just north of Holton, that crosses the southern part of Nemaha and Brown counties, and that is very likely to start to develop into more severe storms soon here. So there's a break right now off the Holton over to Effingham and Atchison, but Topeka, I expect to see heavy rain or a severe storm moving to the capital city before 9 o'clock. And I'm seeing the radar there and the satellite as well, where things are still developing. I'm still confident that will happen. So warning still going until 7:45 for folks around Geary, Pottawatomie, and Riley, Wabaunsee counties as well. That's this warning over here. The activity close to Wakefield looks like it's kind of lost its energy as it's eaten up by the storm that's moving over here into Riley County and across really the downtown area of Manhattan. And off to the west here, you can see the severe storms near Manchester and getting close to Chapman. And these are not one organized thing going one direction. You can watch this storm here northwest of Dickinson County. Kind of develops and then curves around. Like they're not all moving in one direction. There's no one supercell that you can just pick and go with. There are supercells developing along this line that kind of build and then fall apart, and then another area of energy kind of picks it up. So, but right now the strongest thing looks like it's going close to and just south of Manhattan. So let's check that out again on the live camera. Again, this is not a tornado situation. Don't want to scare anybody more than is necessary here. Just be aware that these things are out there. We'll check out the live camera again from right there in downtown Manhattan, or close to downtown from the Flint Hills Discovery Center, and that's the view. And I can turn this camera. A minute ago we had some hail falling there. It's pretty evident. Now the wind is a bit stronger, but it doesn't look like I see hail falling there to this point. So looking south down the street there at the Flint Hills Discovery Center, you can see that that very identifiable building there, the Flint Hills Discovery Center. And as you look south, you can see the rain is really hitting the camera lens better there. So it's kind of coating it in water as we point to the south with a south wind. Now in a few minutes, the wind will likely shift from the north and northwest. You can really see the downpour here to the northwest here, kind of the edge of the rain. I was checking out the radar a minute ago. You could see the back edge of that storm in Manhattan. You can see it here as well from the location looking to the northwest. You're seeing the very edge of that supercell storm that's over Riley County at this point. And it's not really moving east as much as it kind of built east. And just because you see this line here all moving east doesn't mean this is done or southeast. Along this line across Pottawatomie County, up into the southern part of Nemaha and southern parts of Brown County, we have the cold front itself extends through that area, and we're very likely to see more storms filling in that region and then ultimately moving east and southeast through the evening. So Topeka, Osage City, I would fully expect to see more of us dealing with more warnings as we go through the evening hours, with baseball-sized hail being kind of the worst case here, and also the possibility of saying winds could be 70 or even 80 miles per hour at times. Again, so we're watching Manhattan here. That's one of the stronger storms that's ongoing. I'm going to check out the CAN drive cameras and see what's going on there. Some of the storms are getting right along Interstate 70. So let's bring it up right here. This is how candrive.org is the site that we check out here. And you can check this out, of course. Your tax dollars are paying for it. You might as well check it out. So let's check it. There's I-70 at Junction City. Not so bad there at this point. Exit 299 in Junction City, also not that bad. So we get to US 77. That's at I-70. Not sure if it's Junction City still or not. I'm not seeing problems there as we get to the Milford exit and Chapman. It's not all that bad at this point. But again, these storms are moving southeast, east and southeast, and it certainly will come across the interstate and cause some downpours and probably some hail and make for difficult travel for anybody heading through there. So heat indices right now, still close to 102 in Topeka. Emporia not as hot at 96. As you look off to the south from Cloud County Community College, these are the updrafts from the supercell storms that are south and southeast of Concordia at this point. Concordia is probably out of the storm chance at this point. And let's check out the view there now. That is from the Manhattan campus of Stormont Vale, and you can see the heavy rain there now at that location. I'm trying to pick out if there's any hail with that or not. And also I'm noticing that my clouds that are close to the Maple Hill camera, those are starting to fill in now and becoming more evident. That's going to be a problem. All right, let me see if I can turn this camera as well here. And if you have friends or family at Evergy Plaza right now that I believe it's Beats and Eats going on, it looks to me like they're fine. I don't see any reason for anybody to hurry out of there. So if you have friends or family over there, or if you're out there, you can continue to just have a good time for now. The storm, if it gets there, won't be in the next few minutes, so it's going to be at least an hour or more. So again, this is a view from Stormont Vale Health, the Manhattan campus, and that is hail falling in Manhattan right now on the north side of town. Look at the hail there on the roof, and you can see it hitting the top of the building there and kind of sticking. I'm not sure if that's bigger than a quarter or not, but certainly hail falling on the roof here at the Stormont Vale on the north side of Manhattan at this point. So we do have some hail there. Again, this is not a tornado situation, but it is going to be damaging wind and some hail. And the Weather Service Severe Storm Watch does mention hail could be baseball size with some of these storms. So we're going to have to watch these very closely, as those are certainly hailstones that are bouncing off the top of Stormont Vale in Manhattan. But it's not on the order of baseball size, not even close to that at this point. All right, there's Council Grove again. The storms are getting closer. Now here's the view from the Maple Hill transmission site, or the WIBW transmission site. I showed this a minute ago, and you could see the clouds were building vertically. This one, I'm not sure if it completely just moved into the picture or if it developed right where it's at, but you can see this one much bigger than what's going on down the line. But these clouds are all vertically developing, and the sun's still up for more than an hour, about an hour and a half actually. So still plenty of time and heat energy for these storms to develop. Once the sun goes down, I'm not sure we'll have a low-level jet kick these things, into gear more or not. But once we get about an hour past sunset, anything that hasn't gone probably won't. But still very likely, I think it's very likely we'll have storms developing in this area right here, northern Pottawatomie County, southern Nemaha, southern Brown, and then moving southeast, just like these other storms are doing at this point. So again, that storm in Manhattan producing hail about the size of quarters, it looks like to me, in the north side of town. It also produced hail about the size of quarters a few minutes ago near Flint Hills Discovery Center. And that line I was mentioning, showing up on the tower camera, is right through here. That's the line, the cold front itself, that extends across southern Brown, southern Nemaha, moving south toward areas like Holton. And again, this is very likely to have severe weather developing along that line here in the next hour or less. So zooming back in more closely on this, the storm that's over Riley County near Manhattan looks to be by far the most powerful thing we have going. I'm going to check out the velocity on that just in case. Again, hail and damaging winds are by far the most common risk. You can't rule out tornadoes with this thing, but that one looks to me like it's got some spin with it at this point. So not to scare anybody, just kind of monitoring these things to see what's up with all the storms. So there we have the storm. Hail about the size of $half so possible. Has a little kind of notch there at exit 177 just south of town. That's Bill Snyder Family Highway. Bill Snyder Highway, I believe it's called. I can't remember which one it's named, but I'm at this moment. It's Bill Snyder Family Stadium. I know that one for sure. So we'll check it out from town. We'll zoom back out here and check out the view from the cams and from Manhattan looking to the south. Come on. I'll take a moment to load. There we go. And they're updating the warning on this. So there we go. There's the view from the Flint Hills Discovery Center there in Manhattan. I've got it looking south now into the extremely heavy rain. Let's go back to the KDOT camera here and check out what it looks like at the exit off of I-70. So there's Manhattan exit 313, I-70 exit 313, and it's not that rough at this point. Over to Deep Creek Road, not a problem just yet, but likely will be soon. And then there again is that view with heavy rain falling in Flint Hills Discovery Center near downtown at this point. Wamego, everything is still calm at this point. And again, I'm watching that development to the east where I really expect to see more storms popping up and filling in from right here. This is what the camera has been watching, and it's to the north. So we're watching like this cloud right here. The storm clouds ahead, this is an anvil from a different supercell. So this thing is not matured enough to reach that level, but there are more clouds along here that are becoming more and more vertical. And anything along that line that again goes across the southern part of Nemaha, southern Brown counties, could become severe rapidly, as a matter of fact. It wouldn't take much time at all for it to become severe and to do so very quickly. There's a view from 78th and Davis Road, kind of closer to those clouds. So monitoring that activity at this point just to see when it starts to become severe. And then I'm going to go back over to the Manhattan view from the Stormont Vail Manhattan campus. There we go. All right, we'll back the camera up here. And this will be it. That's the view there at the Manhattan campus at Stormont Vail. Still hail falling on the roof there and bouncing off. It doesn't look like it's bigger than a quarter to me, maybe even be the size of peas or marbles. But down the bottom there, you can even see the hail's kind of piling up on the ground. It's hard to see from that shot. I'm going to see if I can turn this camera so you can see it. There it is. Yeah. So off kind of to the bottom right there, you can see some hail piling up on the ground right by the camera. There we go. It's bouncing off the roof there, and it's kind of piling up a little bit on the roof there. It's not, you know, it's not super deep or something, but it's at least hail that's sticking around there. So it's bigger than peas for sure. All right, temperature is still scorching hot, 102, the official heat index in Manhattan. That's the airport, and that will come down now that there's rain in the area. That will drop shortly here. From Concordia, looks like you're behind the storm. This is a view from Manhattan again. Hail piling up there on the roof of the Stormont Vail Manhattan campus. Some parts of Manhattan could see hail the size of $50. I don't think it's that big there on the north side of town, but certainly could be in some spots. Now, here's that view from near Maple Hill, the WIBW transmission tower. These clouds a few minutes ago were just, you know, little like speed bumps, and now they're becoming, you know, more cumulus congestus on their way up to becoming supercell thunderstorms. This is the anvil from the other storms that are downstream to the west, and this is continuing to fill in. So that's going to develop across Pottawatomie, southern Brown, southern Nemaha, maybe northern Jackson, and continue drifting to the east and southeast. All right, so back over the radar here. We have a couple of warnings lined up, and if you know somebody calling me, or if you're calling me, I'm not going to answer the phone right now. It's just me, so that's not going to happen. So I saw a storm that had hail, looked like it was 2.5 inch diameter. Let's check out the list here. We'll go over the hail settings and see which one looks to be the worst. And get the whole list of which ones are worst here. All right, so hail zone. Let's go to NWS and see which one has got the biggest problem here. So 2.5 inch diameter hail is what they're mentioning now with the storm that is over there in Riley County, it looks like. Yeah, this dude right here. All right, so, hey Bridge, can you guys hear me? Bridge, Denny, anybody in there? We should do an update for this with the 2.5 inch diameter hail on TV. Is there a break coming up soon, or is this a decent time to go? Okay. Yep. Okay. Put me on. Just had a report of hail up to tennis ball size just northwest of Manhattan a few minutes ago. We are covering this live on streaming on WIBW.com, YouTube, and Facebook as well. But the storm near Manhattan moving towards Zendale, Alma, and now we've got the severe storm warning across parts of Pottawatomie, Wabunsee County as well. Again, this storm has a history of hail 2 inches diameter. So if you're around Manhattan to Zendale or traveling on I-70, I would not travel between Junction City and Topeka on I-70 the next few minutes with this dangerous storm that is moving through. Again, 2.5 inch diameter hail possible with that. We do actually reported with that a few minutes ago, so it's not just possible, it happened just a few moments ago. We have more severe storms lined up, and I expect to see severe storms popping up across Pottawatomie County up to the southern part of Brown and Nemaha County within the next half hour or so. It's actually showing up near Holton now on the radar, but these will be more supercells moving southeast. Oskaloosa, Topeka, Osage City, likely to see warnings within the next couple of hours. We'll have your 8-day forecast down at 13 News at 10. Again, I'm live streaming YouTube, Facebook, WIBW.com. We'll break into TV on occasion as needed, and keep your TV right here. We'll keep you safe and informed. All right, thanks for staying with us here. So what I was noticing there as I was on the TV with the cut-in on that is I saw a radar return showing up close to Holton, and that's the first time I've seen one up here that was part of that northern edge of this. So that's the development I was expecting to see. This will rapidly become a severe storm, not like maybe. You know, this is a 99% likelihood that that thing becomes a severe storm within the next half hour. So we're in Holton, Denison. I'm advising you right now, you will see a severe storm soon. All right, stay with me. Got all kinds of stuff going on here. All right, so that activity will continue to develop and fill in. And the other warning here, that new warning, that is for parts of Wabunsee County. I want to see if it mentions the 2.5-inch diameter hail. It probably does. All right. 2.5-inch diameter hail for Pottawatomie, Riley, Wabunsee, going until 8:30 p.m. And they say located 4 miles southwest of St. George, moving east at 30 miles per hour. So let's see, say that again, that's 4 miles southwest of St. George, moving east at 30 miles per hour. All right, so let's go to that location. Actually, let's pan over there, know where that's at. So St. George, they're going with the big hail being southwest of St. George. And it's right where I mentioned a little while ago, it looked like it had a hook echo showing up on it. All right, so the location on that, St. George right here. And, you know, it had a hook. I'm not saying tornado, just sometimes they get hooks with them, just to become especially strong. And hail the size of baseballs is something that was mentioned in the watch with this. That's not a huge surprise. That's something that's a possibility. So looking at hail zone now, it's usually the hail zone takes in a lot of data to try to estimate what the hail size is, and it's showing it close to St. George right now. So they're saying it's a few miles southwest of St. George, so that's more likely. Let's go back over to the hail and see where the Ville is the highest. Yeah, it's still close to St. George, showing up here. Southwest, moving east at 30. Okay. So if you're around St. George, you should be staying inside while this storm moves over. Again, hail up to 2.5 inches diameter was reported with this just a few minutes ago, and the location of the hail there, several reports of hail in Manhattan, it looks like. 2.5 inches being the biggest, and that was northwest of downtown a few minutes ago. So this storm is particularly strong. It has hail up to 2.5 inches in diameter. We had some reports of hail, large hail across Clay County as well, and again, this will continue to fill in. We have this next storm developing in the north part of Jackson County. I expect that to become a severe storm and a problem soon here as well. And if you're downstream in parts of Wabunsee County here, you are looking at a severe storm with hail the size of tennis balls or baseballs moving across I-70 shortly. Alma, McFarland, Newberry, Maple Hill, you should all be ready for hail up to 2.5 inches in diameter. That's a possibility with this. If it stays intact, it can make it to Topeka. If it doesn't, I think we'll see storms upstream make it to Topeka a little later. All right, updates here. We got Clay County, part of Clay County out of a warning. Dickinson, Ottawa, 60 and quarter size hails mentioned there. Another report of golf ball size hail in Manhattan a few minutes ago, and we were seeing that on the tower camera a few minutes ago as well. So not a big surprise. All right, so looking at the satellite and radar, This line right here is what I've been focusing on for a while from the tower camera, because that's where I expect to see more severe storms popping up and moving to the east and southeast and affecting a lot of folks. So we're going to zoom in on the camera again and see how those storm cells are developing at this point. So here's one of the cameras. This is the WIBW transmission tower. You can see the storm cloud is now big enough that it's getting into say jet stream, but it's the jet stream level. It's just strong enough up there. It's not a intense jet stream by any means, but it's strong enough that once the cloud gets up about 40, 50,000 feet, the winds are strong enough to blow the anvil top off of it. So you can see it developing there in that shot. Now from 78th and Davis Road, looking toward the same storm cloud, that might be a different one. Let's see if I can adjust that. It looks like that one might be losing the bottom part of the cloud. That's a different view. Is that it? That's it right there. I'll turn this over to the left and see if that storm cloud it's behind the tower. So if these things start losing their base to the north, then they'd be less likely to cause problems. All right. Just trying to analyze this as we go here. All right. So again, that storm that's near Holton looks to me like it will continue to become stronger, even severe. Let's see if we can get the camera there. That's from Banner Creek Science Center. Not too wild at this point. And then off to the southwest here, here's a view from Wamego, where the severe storm looks like it's just missed you just to the south. So in Wamego, everything looks okay there. And then from the WIBW transmission site, there is that storm cell that I see is developing. It's close to Manhattan. That's close to Holton. That's what we're looking at. That's way up there to the northeast of the WIBW transmission tower. And I'm going to take that camera and turn it to the west toward the big supercell that's coming from Manhattan area, heading in that direction. So that's the look at the one that's near Holton. And then looking off to the west here, this is the storm coming from Manhattan, heading toward areas like Alma, Maple Hill, across Wabunsee County. That's that severe storm warning, or severe storm with a history of hail up to 2 inches, 2.5 inches diameter. So that's the most dangerous one that we have in progress, is that one right there. All right, so severe storm watch going until 11 p.m. for most of the area. We do have a history of storms today with hail of a size of 2.5 inches diameter. We'll continue covering this all evening long here on WIBW.com, Facebook, and YouTube as well. There's the storm near Holton at this point. That one is not considered to be severe at this moment, but as I loop this over the last hour, you'll see it going from nothing to becoming at least a storm that's it's trying to intensify. I guess you'd say they don't have a will, so they're not really trying, but they look like they are sometimes. So that storm near Holton is becoming a bit stronger, and that's part of the line I expect to see developing more over the next few hours. All right, that's the camera there from 78th and Davis Road. And I'm going to turn that one so we can see the storm a little better. There we go. So from 70th and Davis Road, looking to the northeast toward that Holton storm, and it's from that angle. I think that's hail falling out of it at the bottom. I think that's what I'm seeing there. The other camera from near Maple Hill, our WIBW transmission tower, really has a better look at that, I think, because it actually sees it all the way to the base, whereas the one that's over closer to it, what I'm seeing from the camera that's closer, because the tower's blocking part of it, I'm kind of seeing this part where I think there's a little hail falling out of the storm. But from the camera all the way over near Maple Hill from our transmission tower, I can see the back of it is still intact here. It still looks, kind of like a slow motion explosion, if you will. So that storm that's near Holton is continuing to develop. The other camera, from the position it was, I wasn't sure if it might be weakening, but at this point now, looking at it there, it looks pretty clearly to me that it is still intensifying. So that storm's still intensifying at this point. Let's check out the hail again. Bring on the interactive tools on my radar system here. And again, we have this severe thunderstorm watch that goes all the way until 11 p.m. The biggest problem we've had so far was hail about the size of tennis balls that was reported near Manhattan a few minutes ago. And that storm is moving into WIBW County. Let's check out the latest details on this from the Weather Service. And they still say it has hail up to 2.5 inches in diameter. And is moving to the southeast or east-southeast, which if that continues on its path, it could make it to Topeka. That's a possibility. While I look to the north there, you can see the storm near Holton is not severe at this point, but certainly could become severe within 10 or 15 minutes. Just needs a little more time to develop, and it may become severe. That's a real possibility there. But this one that's going very close to I-70 now has the history of hail up to 2.5 inches diameter, and it is the one that's looks to be the most dangerous at this point. And it's really interesting to see what the storms are doing here. Let's just step back and kind of look at the pattern on this. So this is why it's kind of hard to pick one target and track that target. The storm that went through Manhattan looks like it kind of developed over the southwest part of Raleigh County as a line and then broke off and is now out completely by itself. This thing is nowhere near where the other storms were. And then watch right here in Clay County. In the last 15 minutes, a new storm developed where old storms were. So they kind of moved away. That's a whole new storm that's developed all by itself there in the southern part of Clay County. And it would be very likely we would see some flash flooding as a problem there in southern Clay County shortly, if not already, from what we're seeing there on the radars. There's been it's been heavy rain falling in that part of the area for a couple of hours now. All right, let's check out the rain vision and see how much rain has fallen. I really think we'll start getting some flash flooding there in southern Clay County shortly, if not already. There's a 3-hour rainfall total, and you can see there across the southern part of Clay County. It looks like some spots here have seen maybe an inch or 3 inches of rain have fallen in just a couple of hours there. So we're very likely to see some flash flood warnings issued there shortly. That's what I would expect. All right, so let's go back to this satellite and radar that I have. It's going to be this one, I think. There we go. And along this, we're going to lose some sunlight. Now, it's not sunset yet, but as we get closer to sunset, this graphic does not do as good of a job in the dark. I have to switch it over to infrared. But that's the feature right there, the cold front itself. And they had that storm that's near Holton that's developing and moving to the southeast. And I really think that's going to start filling in. Now, this activity is going across the northwest part of WIBW County at this time. Now we have 2.75 inch diameter hail with this, is what they're mentioning. And that is very dangerous. Baseball size hail is certainly dangerous. So if you're there in areas like Newberry and St. Mary's, baseball size hail is what's possible with this. I'm going to read the Weather Service text on this word for word and see what they've got. And again, this is kind of a weird night because these storms are meandering back and forth in many cases. Wamego, let's check you out on the camera real quick there, as the higher Ville levels are getting close to Wamego at this point. Let's see if we have any hail falling there. That's from the WTC Wamego Telecom there. I don't see hail falling there at this point, but it certainly could at any point. Now let's check out the Weather Service text here and see what they say on this new warning. And they're saying baseball size hail looking over St. George, moving east at 30. So trained weather spotters said they had a baseball size hail south of Flush at 7:30 p.m. So you got a very large hail reported with this just a few minutes ago. So St. George is dealing with the bigger hail right now there in town. So there we go. That's probably going to be the hail report right there. 2.8 inches at 7:30, just north of St. George. And again, putting this into motion, you can see that storm cell breaking off by itself and moving to the east, east-southeast. But that storm is not hanging out with the other ones. It's doing its own thing, kind of going its own direction at this point. Let's go check out the hail zone again here. And again, large hail the size of baseballs possible around Wamego and St. George. hey guys, let's go ahead and go back on TV with this. We should do this one like right away, and I'll do a fast update on it. All right, baseball-sized hail is possible in Wamego any moment now. St. George is in at this point. Wamego could have baseball-sized hail at any moment. Severe storm warning for that going until 7:45. But again, baseball-sized hail, 2.75 inches diameter for that particular warning. This is moving to the east-southeast. St. Mary's, Maple Hill, Newberry would be in the path of this. On down the line, we have to watch Silver Lake, Topeka, Rossville as well. We're live streaming this on WIBW.com, Facebook, and YouTube. Stay with us. Right here as well, we'll keep you safe and informed on TV too. All right, thanks for staying with us here on the live stream. Again, around Wamego, the possibility of seeing a hail the size of a baseball. That could happen any moment here. I'm going to go back to that camera from Wamego Telecom. Now, if there's hail there along Highway 99, I don't see it as being baseball size at this point, but it would not surprise me if it gets there. The radar was showing very large targets showing up there. And that storm with the baseball size hail reported a few minutes ago is making its way kind of east. And these hot weather storms like this with slow moving cold fronts do really weird things. This storm with baseball size hail is kind of moving almost straight east now. These other storms moving down into Marion and McPherson counties are moving more south-southeast. This storm in southern Clay County is redeveloping over the same area over and over and over. So, you know, these super hot days like this, with extremely high humidity with a weak cold front, it's really wild to see how these things develop, but they don't behave like other days at all. We're tracking tornadic storms. You know, in April and May, a lot of the times, the storms are kind of moving all one direction. Sometimes they'll begin to turn gradually. But these things just really have so much energy down low, but not enough jet energy to really drive them in any particular direction. So everything's kind of meanders, if you will. But that's the view right now of the storm. This has got baseball-sized hail moving into Wamego, most likely any moment here. And then Bellevue, St. Mary's, Maple Hill would be in the path of this. We'll check out the view from Wamego again. That's the view there. Again, the hail is not baseball size, but I can see at least some hail there on the street on Highway 99. Of course, they have Boomtown there in Wamego, not that, in July 4th. And there's an update on that warning, so let's see what that says. You can kind of see it flashing there most likely if you're watching it closely. So there is the update on the warning here, and they're saying that as of 7:42, that storm is moving east at 30, and golf ball size hail reported just a few moments ago, 3 miles west of Wamego. So just a few moments ago, we had hail that was golf ball size reported just to the west of town. And now as you look at the street in Wamego, you can see the hail covering the road now. So we do have hail in Wamego right now. It's hard to tell how big that is, but that is hail that's on the street in downtown Wamego right now with that supercell storm. And by far, this is the worst one we have going in the WIBW viewing area is that one. All right, upstream here, this is watching from the WIBW transmission tower. And we're going to keep an eye on that storm from Wamego as it comes farther to the east, as it could go awfully close to this camera. So again, this has a history of hail the size of baseballs near St. George and Flush a little while ago, and now it's producing hail golf ball size a few minutes ago near Wamego, and that was a report. And then looking at the street in Wamego, I can't tell how big that hail is, but those are certainly ice chunks. That is not that's not just rain splashing around. They're chunks of ice that are laying there on the street through Wamego right now. Check the storm reports and see if anything else has come in close to Wamego from this. And let's see. So the one that's just west of town near St. George is going to be golf ball size. And then to the northwest of there, this was a 2.8 inch diameter hail just north of St. George near the town of Flush. But the biggest hail to me looks like it's just about to move into Wamego, that area of kind of dark purple there. This looks to be the biggest hail, which caused both of these a few minutes ago, and then now is moving right into the town of Wamego. You see a downpour there. The visibility is not terrible, but you can't see more than maybe a couple of blocks. Again, that's from the folks at Wamego Telecom there in Wamego with that severe storm. So that's moving toward Bellevue and St. Mary's, Newberry, Maple Hill. Alma could be involved in this. The storm has been moving more east than southeast. So we will have to see where it goes. Now, over the next couple of hours, we will see more storms filling in along this line. I've been watching another storm close to Holton that doesn't look as motivated right there, getting close to Denison. And you can see it develop and get up to probably 40, 50,000 feet, but it's not as big, by even close to as big as what's going on over here to the west. So this thing near Wamego, going toward Maple Hill, could ultimately affect folks around Topeka and Silver Lake, probably close to 9 p.m. if that all holds together. So till 8:15 we have a warning for Pottawatomie, Raleigh, Wabaunsee for hail up to 2.75 inches in diameter. So the update on this. Let's see. All right, severe storm warning remains in effect till 8:15. Storm located near Wamego. Moving east at 30. Destructive storm for Louisville. Baseball size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Okay, so still has baseball size hail is what they're saying with this. Let's go back to the camera there in Wamego and see what's up. So again, if you're in Louisville, you need to stay inside while this moves by. It's a very destructive storm. When you have hail that's golf ball to baseball size, you can get a lot of damage out of those things. Baseball size can go through a car windshield. It can do a lot of roof damage and that kind of thing, but you just need to stay inside as one of these things moves through. All right, now looking at the radar, it's a new feature I'm picking out here, and this is going to be an outflow boundary. Right there, this green strip that goes to the north toward Westmoreland. Outflow boundaries a lot of times cut off some of the low-level moisture and keep more severe storms from forming. That's an area that's kind of behind the storms anyway, so that's not going to make a big difference here. But this thing moving across the northern part of Wabaunsee County and southern part of Pottawatomie County has a history of baseball-sized hail, and it is a dangerous storm, and it is moving to the east at roughly 30 miles per hour. So if it continues moving east at 30, that will put it in Topeka in just about an hour. Check out hail zone and see what kind of indications we're getting there. I want to back up here and see if it went that big. Yeah, the hail did go that big on hail zone right there of St. George. So it did pick it up that big. As we go forward, the hail looks like it's diminished as it goes forward in time. However, it's getting closer to the Doppler radar, and it may not be doing as good of a job of estimating it. So I would not say all clear by any means for that storm at this point. All right, so lots of updates coming in here. Let's see what we've got. All right, $half size hail near Wamego. Golf ball size hail, that was 3 miles west of Wamego. And let's see, 2-inch diameter hail 2 miles west of Wamego. So we're getting lots of hail reports near Wamego from this storm. So Wamego, certainly hail falling in town. I can tell looking at the street there from Wamego Telecom. We have hailstones that are on the road there. It is very difficult to tell how big a hailstone is from this image. If I could see it, cracking windows or something on cars, then it's more obviously something that's bigger. Sometimes you can see the really big ones shatter when they make contact with the street, but in this case it's still difficult to tell how big those would be from looking at the camera there. But certainly is a severe storm that's moving through Wamego right now, and if you're there close to Wamego, you should be taking shelter inside. Folks around Louisville also do the same thing, and this will move toward areas like move toward areas like Alma and Maple Hill. And now the hail looks bigger there. That looks bigger in Wamego right now. Yeah, these are bigger hailstones now. All right, 7:48 p.m. The Weather Service says their warning is still in place till 8:15 for southeast Riley, northern Wabaunsee, southeast Pottawatomie. Storm over Wamego. We see it. Destructive storm for Wamego. Hazard, baseball-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. And that hail is getting big in Wamego right now. And we just went on a couple of moments ago on TV to let Wamego know this thing was coming, so it's not a big surprise to anybody there at this point. And if you're watching me on TV from Wamego, we try to give you a heads up. Now, the radar shows it diminishing in size, but the thing is that storm is very close to the radar unit itself at this point. So amazingly, the radar can see a lot of things. It can't see up. The radar doesn't see up very well at all. I'm not sure how it would resolve that. But as the storms get closer to the radar, sometimes you have to really make decisions when you're looking at it as what you're seeing many times. But in this case, the radar is just to the south near Alma, and the storm is over Wamego. So it's close enough that it could impact how big the hail looks from the radar. So we are seeing hail falling in Wamego right now. That's not baseball size I'm seeing there, but I haven't mentioned there of 2-inch diameter hail in Wamego about 5 minutes ago. Oh, that's a previous report. What is that? Okay. Yeah, it's 2-inch diameter. They said golf ball, they updated to be 2 inches diameter. All right, so around Wamego we have hail about 2 inches diameter possible there with this part of the storm. We'll zoom back out and see what else is going on. That storm is moving to the east. It was moving southeast, now it's moving almost straight east. So this storm with a history of hail up to 2 inches, up to baseball size, could impact Topeka, could impact Silver Lake, St. Mary's, Louisville. You're being impacted by this. Folks in Rossville may have to deal with this thing. All right, report now of quarter-size hail near Ottawa. That's just a few minutes ago, and there's not a lot of coverage in this now of the storm. So I'll zoom back in and check out how things are developing along our lines. So the stuff near Holton and Denison is not developing rapidly vertically at this point. Looks like it's started to go and may be kind of giving up. So that'd be a great thing if that storm can't hold itself together. But let's check out what's going on along the line there. So near Holton, Hoyt, Mayetta, that's the part of the storm. It looked like it would probably start to build up along the cold front, and right now it looks like it's not holding together. So let's check out the cameras there and see what we have from a couple of different views. So we'll look at it from right there. That's the view from 78th and Davis Road, and it doesn't have that kind of cauliflower or explosion look on the side of it here. You know, you've got kind of the wispy shape to it there. So that's not as impressive as it was a few minutes ago. So when you start to see structure like that, where it looks, kind of wispy almost, that's not a sign of upward motion. It needs to look more like an explosion, really, a slow motion explosion but that's what it would look like. In this case, that storm is close to Holton and Denison. Does not look impressive at all now on the satellite. It looked very impressive a few minutes ago, as it was not the satellite, but it looked impressive on the tower camera, and the radar was certainly developing vertically very fast. Now, this is the storms coming toward Maple Hill, the one that just moved through areas around Wamego, and is actually still in place there near Wamego. But at this point, that storm is going to start moving toward areas like Maple Hill and toward areas like Rossville, Silver Lake, and probably even Topeka, depending on if it can hold together after the sun sets. So that's going to be a question with it, is if it holds together or not past sunset. So that's looking to the west toward that storm as it gets closer to the WIBW transmission tower. So again, that storm has a history of hail the size of baseballs, and it will ultimately start heading toward areas like Rossville, and Silver Lake would be in the path of this. So there's the view from 70th and Davis Road as that storm cloud is is losing its intensity. So look off to the west from this now as the storm coming from the west, that's the one with the history of seeing hail up to baseball size, as that'll start coming toward areas in Topeka and Silver Lake, Rossville as well. St. Mary's in the path of that too. I'm going to start turning my cameras around so I can see in that direction. So that's the base of the storm, and I can actually see that same structure from the northwest side of Topeka right there. This is the Menninger Hill view, and kind of right in the very middle, just the right of that wire. You can see the lowering on that, which probably where the hail is falling. And you see that same feature from the Capitol Federal Sky Cam at 70th and Davis Road. That might be a scud cloud. Probably is. All right, so back to Wamego. Things are calming down in Wamego after seeing some hail. The hail is melted from the streets there, it looks like now. And again, that is that's the only severe storm warning we have in the WIBW viewing area at this time. Is the pair of warnings that are both Pottawatomie, Wamego, and Riley are all three in two different warnings at this point. But that is by far the most powerful and dangerous storm we have. And as it was moving to the southeast earlier, now it's moving more to the east, and it's even expanding. It's kind of growing to the north. So that's an interesting feature here now. The storms I was looking at along the cold front developing close to Holton and Denison really kind of fell apart. But now you're seeing the storm that came across Manhattan and Wamego is now starting to reach farther to the north. So this one is starting to grow farther to the north, and will ultimately, it could affect areas like Mayetta, Holton, Denison, Meriden, Topeka, of course, be in the path of that. But this storm is beginning to become more of a line, becoming wider, if you will. So just about to get into areas like Maple Hill and then Silver Lake. We'll probably see a warning issued with that shortly for Shawnee County. We will see, but that would be, I'd say that warning probably going to be maybe 15 minutes from now as it gets closer. It'll probably go up to 9 o'clock in Shawnee County, will be my guess with that, if it continues to be strong as we get past sunset. All right, new warnings issued over here now. And this one is for hail the size of quarters and coming out of Clay County into Dickinson, Geary, and Riley. So Riley has seen a lot of warnings this evening. And this is for quarter size hail and winds to 60 miles per hour. Let's go back in time a little and watch that one develop. And you can see this one, so back up in time, kind of developing after 7:15, after this first storm moved away. So we've seen this storm develop, and the other one develop kind of in the same area. So the cold front itself has not been setting off anything across Jackson, Brown, Nemaha counties, but this storm is coming into the eastern part of Pottawatomie, eastern Wabaunsee County. That storm itself may ultimately be the one that produces severe storms in those areas. All right, let's check out the warning information. The Weather Service has a report of ping pong ball size hail in Wamego about 6 minutes ago. And there's the warning they have for Dickinson, Geary, and Riley County, the new one. I want to check out what's going on with KDOT now, see if there's anything on the cameras along I-70. So this is KDOT, candrive.org. Let's check out the conditions there at the Alma exit on I-70. Looks windy. There's Deep Creek Road. There's exit 313, Manhattan exit off I-70. This is Junction City, still Junction City. And then on Abilene, it looked like the heavier storms are in place, the heavy rain. There's the Milford exit, Chapman. Near Abilene, you can see heavy rain kind of in the upper right part of that picture right over there. That is heavy rain for sure. At Solomon, the precipitation is heavy right now. All right, temperatures, where it has rained, it is cooler. 84 degrees in Manhattan now, after Manhattan's seen a couple of rounds of rain and severe weather. We had hail up the size of golf balls falling in town. We had a report of tennis balls or baseball size, tennis ball size hail just northwest of Manhattan, so it's not impossible. Somebody in town had it that big. View from Clyde County Community College looking south. You can still see the updrafts. This is the Stormont Vale Health Manhattan campus in Manhattan where things have calmed down. We had a lot of hail falling there a few minutes ago. Council Grove, the storms are slowly coming your way. It'll take a while to get there. And then from near Maple Hill, we're watching this storm. That's the storm that has a history of baseball-sized hail as it moved through around St. George, Flush, and near Manhattan. And now we have a severe storm warning that includes Shawnee County. So there we go. That's the newest warning here. Let's see if they're going with big old hail on this update or not. And it's the same storm. So this is the same storm that we've been dealing with for a while. And they're putting out a warning for this for Pottawatomie, Jackson, Shawnee, Wabunsee counties, and they're mentioning 2-inch diameter hail with this. So this warning going until 9 p.m., hail 2 inches diameter, doesn't quite get to the Wanamaker and 470. Not quite getting to, or I-70 and 470 get together on the west side of town, but some folks just to the northwest or in Shawnee County are getting into this. So Rossville and Silver Lake are in that for sure. St. Mary's is in this. It's winds to 60 and hail up to 2 inches diameter are what they're mentioning with this. All right, so check out the camera again, and we'll have several cameras pointed at this. And of course, the sun's still up, which means we can see these things better. A lot of the parts of the country get a lot of night storms, so they can't use the cameras quite as well as we can, but we can really see a lot of this stuff really well, and we're lucky to be able to do that. So that's the view from 70th and Davis Road. And I'm not expecting tornadoes out of this or anything, but we're watching it anyway. But winds to 60, and again, hail up to 2 inches diameter possible with this. And I'm just noticing there's still people out at Evergy Plaza right now for Beats and Eats. So if you're at that, you've got more than an hour before the storm would arrive, but there still looks like a lot of people out there that are having a lot of fun. So check out the camera there, and you can see them. Check out the live camera there. It's from Axe and Ales where it actually is. It's not at Evergy Plaza. It looks toward Evergy Plaza. So there's the view. We've got the camera there. Beats and Eats again going on tonight. So a lot of folks out there at this, and got some time before you need to roll out of there. But as we zoom out, you'll see that severe storm is right over here, getting close to Maple Hill at this point. So it's moving east at 30 miles per hour. You've probably got an hour to get out of there. Be a good idea. All right. So from the west side of Topeka, we can see the storm getting closer. Again, damaging winds of 60 miles per hour possible with this. Hail to 2 inches diameter possibility with this as well. So we got another look at it there from 70th and Davis Road. A couple of different cameras with good looks at this thing. We'll see how strong the wind is. But so far, the worst thing we've seen on this was hail to baseball size, which is certainly dangerous. And the leading edge of this getting close to Maple Hill at this point. And we'll check out the camera here from our transmission tower. Then we'll check out how big the hail is estimated on the radar. So again, these aren't tornado risks from what I see, not at all. But it has been bringing down a lot of hail. So check out the hail size on this now. And we had, again, big hail with this report in several areas. They're still mentioning baseball-sized hail with the warning that's farther to the west there. So we zoom out. The hail core in this is going to be this stuff. There's a hail core there near Newberry and a hail core just west of Emmett. And the computer is going to have an interesting time estimating the hail size because the temperatures aloft are hot as well. Let's see. Just a moment, please. All right, again, we have a severe storm warning there for parts of Shawnee County, Jackson County. We've got parts of Pottawatomie, Wabunsee County, all in this. The threat was hail the size of baseballs with this storm, and the radar shows the storm may be losing in its intensity as far as the hail goes. We also had the possibility of having winds gusting as high as 70 or 80 miles per hour once these storms started to kind of collapse and lose their energy. So there's still that threat as well. So far, it's been just the hail. The hail's been the problem we've dealt with so far. All right, so this storm that's been coming out of Manhattan earlier, now getting to the eastern part of Wabunsee and Pottawatomie counties, still has the risk of seeing hail of a baseball size. As they're mentioning, that's the part of this for Riley and Wabunsee. The other part of the storm that goes into Shawnee and Jackson County, they're mentioning 2-inch diameter hail. And there's two different cores in there. The southern core is the one that looked like it had the bigger hail. At least has the history of producing very large hail. All right, so right now the biggest hail core I see is this one that's getting close to Emmett and Delia at this point. That looks to be the biggest hail that's on the radar from what I see. And there's also hail down to the south in Chase County at this time. Looks like it's pretty impressive at this point. All right, so back on the reflectivity here. Let's see, we've got several severe storm warnings in place now. This one that's in Riley County, Geary County, and also the southeast part of Clay County is this is going to be for hail up to 1-inch diameter, 60-mile-per-hour winds. That goes until 8:45 p.m. And that one's going to be moving very close to Fort Riley shortly. And you see downpours of rain, of course. To the east, this storm has a history of hail the size of baseballs, and now it's moving close to Maple Hill at this point. This one, because it's so close to the radar, it's hard to say if the hail is still that big or not, because the radar is just not picking it up being that large at this point. I'm going to change my view here on this camera and turn it around. Not that far around. Went all the way around. Okay, so looking straight west there. Again, that camera is looking from our transmission site, the transmission tower, which is just kind of the south of Maple Hill. And look almost due north here because that's where the storm is going to go, just straight past this tower. That's it. You can see the heavy rain now starting there at the left side of the screen. The heavy rain already moving in there, and the right side of the picture was not raining at all yet from what I could see. There's the view from 70th and Davis Road into the storm, and this is moving east into Shawnee County and into the southwest part of Jackson County shortly. We'll check out the velocity on this and see if we start to get any strong straight line winds that could start to show up on this. And that could really develop at any time. So once the sun goes down and these things start to come down from the high elevation, I mean 50,000 feet or more elevation, that's when you start to see the risk of some of these damaging extreme winds. All right, to the south we have a warning there for Chase County. That one could impact Lyon County. Which direction is it moving, south or is it moving east? It's kind of southeast. So the folks around Emporia, that storm could affect you. That's a possibility. And then for folks in Topeka, we've got to watch Silver Lake and Rossville. Delia, Hoyt, Mayetta. Storms moving these directions. Again, still the risk of baseball-sized hail being mentioned on that storm for Pottawatomie, Riley, and Wabunsee County. That warning goes until 8:15 is when it ends. The other warning that goes into Shawnee County and Jackson County goes until 9 p.m. And they mentioned 2-inch diameter hail possible with this. We've already had several reports of big hail with several of these storms. So if we saw something that big, it would not be a surprise at this point, as storms have already had a history of that. So let's look here and time this out. We've got this moving. Let me get the speed on this one. East at 25 is the speed of the storm that's moving into Shawnee County, or in the west edge of Shawnee County at this point. So if I stop this, let's do a distance from the leading edge of the storm to the folks down at Beats and Eats. So if we're moving 25 miles per hour and the storm is 16 miles away, you've got about 45 minutes before folks downtown start to get soaked. So if you know somebody at Beats and Eats, you may let them know that by 8:45, it looks to me like we will very likely have a storm there. Whether it's severe or not, you certainly wouldn't want to be out there in just the heavy rain and lightnings. There's some of the folks are funneling out of there now, and I'm guessing that crowd will dwindle quickly here in the next half hour. Hopefully it will. And there's a view from near Rossville from the camera. All right, so this storm has a history of hail up the size of baseballs, moving to the west side of Shawnee County now. It doesn't look as strong as it was, but that said, it's also in an environment where the atmosphere is very hot aloft. The computer's algorithms may have trouble estimating the size of the hail just because of how hot it is up high in the atmosphere. We have had reports of hail, bigger than 2 inches diameter, so it's clearly able to do it, even though the upper atmosphere levels are pretty hot. There's a view from Alma on I-70. Looks like the storm is still just north of there. Deep Creek Road looks dry still. Well, it was raining, but it's not heavy raining now. There's I-70 Auburn Road. And there's also the view from Highway 75 near Mayetta. That's another camera that KDOT has there as well. All right, the temperatures are not as hot as they were. We had highs near 100 degrees in many spots today. The heat index was topping out near 110. By far the hottest day we've had so far this year. Now we got 84 in Manhattan, 92 in Topeka, with the heat index in Topeka still 101. So you can really see where it hasn't rained yet. Areas like Topeka, Lawrence, still close to 100 degrees for the heat index, because we have not seen rain yet to cool things down. So we get an update from Marion County coming in here. Let's see what's up with that. There's a view from Cloud County Community College again. The streets are actually drying up in Manhattan. I'm going to take that camera out of the... Now I'll keep them in the rotation because we're actually seeing more storms that are developing west of there. It's like Wamego is 76 degrees now. It's a huge, huge drop. All right, this warning goes till 8:15 for the 2.75 inch diameter hail. Goes away here in a moment. This part of the warning goes until 8:30 for 2.5 inch diameter hail. And we should check out the camera there from our transmission tower again from near Maple Hill and see if we're picking out any hail at this point. I can see hail there. I know that's what it is. This area right here just looks amazing. Wow. All right, so what you're seeing here, This is just north of the WIBW transmission tower, looking kind of toward I-70, and that's hail. You can see it kind of glowing there. The sun this time of the day is hitting it just right to really make it pop, but that's what that is. You're looking at hail that's falling in Wabunsee and Pottawatomie County with that storm. And again, the warning says it could be up to 2.75 inches diameter. That's a real possibility, but that's definitely hail that's falling there from that camera that we're seeing. All right. I'll drop a couple of cameras out of this from the rotation. All right, so again, that's big hail falling just north of Maple Hill, or near Maple Hill right now, actually. In Wabunsee and Pottawatomie County, seeing some of the bigger hail. Topeka's still 92 with a heat index of 101, so there's plenty of heat in the atmosphere for Topeka to see a severe storm moving in. That's still a real possibility here in the capital city. Rossville, Silver Lake, Dover, Eskridge, over to areas like Lawrence could still see a severe storm out of this as well. So we just saw the warning expire that was till 8:15. Now we have warnings going until 9 o'clock for Shawnee County and Jackson County. Another warning there going until 8:30 that includes a big part of Pottawatomie and also Wabunsee County. So the northern warning, this one, they were mentioning a 2-inch diameter hail. The other part of the warning here is where 2.5-inch diameter hail is being mentioned. Now the southern warning on that, I don't really see something down that's producing hail that big. The northern part of the warning, though, here looks like it's actually been becoming stronger, and it's got the mention of 2-inch diameter hail. So till 9 o'clock for Jackson, Pottawatomie, Shawnee, and parts of Wabunsee County, this has a history of producing large hail and damaging winds. And once we get past sunset here in about 30 minutes, most likely damaging winds will become the primary threat of all this stuff. Now let's check out the velocity here. Let's see if we have any strong winds starting to pop in these things. I don't see anything yet there, but I do have updates from me coming in. Hear my own voice there? All right. There's a baseball-sized hailstone from Mike Sharuis from near Manhattan earlier. Just amazing. Okay, so we may have a new warning issued there. Let's see what that was. So still 2-inch diameter hail possible in Jackson, Shawnee County. It's getting into the Rossville area shortly here in St. Mary, Rossville, St. Mary's, Silver Lake, all in the path of that. And we check out our camera that's close to that. The folks at 70th and Davis Road is where this camera is, and this folks at Mercury Wireless put this tower up. There's a Capitol Federal Live Storm Track camera there is what we have. But you can see hail falling there. So we look through the sunlight there. The wind doesn't look to be especially strong at this location, but 70th and Davis Road, that the camera is showing some hail falling there with that part of the storm. And the other view here from Menninger Hill, as the storm gets closer, looking into the sun, kind of difficult to see. And then as we look out from Maple Hill, from the WIBW transmission tower, that's hail right there. It kind of has a glow to it. That's almost definitely hail right now falling in Wabunsee County. All right. All right, so that's the hail falling there. And it's hard to say how large it is at this point. It has a history of being as big as baseballs. I don't think it's that big now, but that is hail that's moving toward areas like Rossville, Silver Lake. St. Mary's is probably in hail right now. And then we may see this getting into Topeka by 9 o'clock. That's a real possibility. So the warning itself goes until 9 o'clock. And we will see if they continue the warning that long. Right now, the hail is not, doesn't look to be as big in there, but I do see hail falling in this. All right, I'm going to check out the Weather Service warning on this again, see what specific details they have. All right, so they're saying that this thing, let's zoom out a little bit. So Weather Service says till 9 o'clock, 2-inch diameter hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds are possible with this. That update was from 20 minutes ago. So let's see where the hail could be the largest in this. And it's kind of climbed northward. There's a hail core close to imminent at this point. And these storms are not behaving in a linear fashion, not moving in just one direction and behaving so you can track them nice and neatly by any means. They're just kind of so much heat energy that they're even back building here. Look at this new storm that just popped up in Clay County near Clay Center. You know, that's a completely different storm that wasn't there a few minutes ago. So till 8:45 between Wakefield and Clay Center, you got more hail the size of quarters possible. Severe storm is over Fort Riley right now with hail the size of quarters possible. And then severe storm is near Abilene, another one near Bennington with quarters size hail possible. And then down to the south near Cottonwood Falls, this one looks more impressive, but that one also says quarter size hail and winds to 60 miles per hour are the possibilities with this one. And we'll see if we can see it looking from the Emporia cam to the west. And that's a view to the north actually right now from Emporia. So I'll bring up the Emporia cam, we can turn it. But you can see just kind of the beautiful colors to the north from the other storms. The storm is closer to Emporia, is going to be to the west of town. And my tower is in between the camera and the storm. But we can see over there to Chase County, the severe storm is in progress right now. And that one's kind of moving to the south-southeast. So a lot of that energy probably will miss Emporia, but that's close enough to you to pay attention, surely. All right, to the north there in Jackson County and Shawnee County, this is the storm that has a history of producing hail up to baseball size. And now the mention on it is that the hail could be up to 2 inches diameter is what they're mentioning on this. So 2-inch diameter hail possible. And the worst part of the storm, the biggest risk of hail to me looks like it's farther to the north. Almost, well, it's right in the west central part of Jackson County is where the biggest hail would be located in this. And kind of drifting to the east slowly at roughly 30 miles per hour at this point. All right, so in Topeka, the southern part of the storm, losing some of its intensity, but it will likely get windy. And we'll see some lightning and heavy rain moving into the Topeka area anyway. And now I'm starting to see some signs of stronger winds showing up that weren't earlier, whipping past St. Mary's and Rossville there. That is something we have not seen earlier with some of these storms. Again, there's some hail falling there from the Capitol Federal Sky Cam. That's at 70th and Davis Roads we're looking at right there. I want to turn that camera and actually want to look down and see if I see any hail on the ground. So again, that's Capitol Federal Sky Cam at 70th and Davis Road. And the winds there could be as high as 60 or 70 miles per hour here in a few minutes. So we'll see if that wind gets there or not. The hail core of this looks like it's farther north to me. All right, so in Topeka, for folks that are over at Beats and Eats, the worst part of that storm is still off to the north and west. I'm not sure how long that event goes. Probably ends at 9, but I'm not sure. So there's the view from the Cyrus Hotel in downtown. And then from Evergy Plaza, that's the view from Axe and Ale. You can see a lot of the folks are funneling out there before the storm arrives, thankfully. And then this is the tower camera at Capitol Federal. Live storm tracker 70th and Davis doesn't look as rough there. I really think a lot of energy went north into Jackson County. So Mayetta, Hoyt, if you have friends and family at the Prairie Bank Casino, they'll have a strong storm moving through there. It is considered severe at this point. It is not tornadic. Looks like the hail is not as big as it was. Now this view is kind of neat. You can see the back side of the updraft here. So the hail's over here we're looking at a few minutes ago. That's the updraft part of it, right in this part of the storm cloud, kind of the west side of the back side of it. And that's a view I am time-lapsing for later. That should be pretty cool. Now, most of the area in Pottawatomie and Wabunsee, they're in this warning, are now out of the storm. St. Mary's is still in the storm. To Maple Hill, still in the storm. But most of that warning that's in Wabunsee and Pottawatomie County, and it goes to 8:30. So most of that area is out of that storm. To the west here, the one near Clay Center, it's not in Clay Center, but southeast Clay Center, Wakefield, that area, still mentioning quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds is possible. And then this storm near Abilene, same thing. This storm near Bennington expires in 6 minutes, and it's quarter-size hail and winds of 60. Chase County, this is winds of 60 and quarter-size hail near Cottonwood Falls and Bizarre. And that storm looks to me like it's going to stay to the west of Emporia, most likely. But it's close enough. You can certainly see an active display of lightning there just west of town from Emporia. All right. Yeah, that'll be a cool time lapse when we stop it in a few minutes here. All right, so severe storm warnings for Jackson and Shawnee County. The Shawnee-Jackson County warning goes till 9 p.m. And the northern part of that warning in Jackson County looks to be by far the strongest part of it. The southern part of that warning in Shawnee County does not look to be that bad at this point. The northern part of it looks to be by far the worst. And the warning in Wabunsee County will expire here in just a couple of minutes. The warning in Clay County, Riley County, then Dickinson County, and Ottawa County, all those expire as well. This one in Chase County I think goes later. But they're all for a quarter-size hail and winds to 60 miles per hour. So this one, here you go, so 9 o'clock, that could affect the southwest part of Lyon County. It's a possibility. And then the warning up here for Jackson and Shawnee County goes till 9. And as I said, they mentioned 2-inch diameter hail with this, so that's still a possibility. And out of all the storms, that one has really been doing its own thing, kind of moving to the east, while everything else is kind of developing. You know, the storms over Clay County have been developing in the same spot over and over again. Then the storm that's in Jackson County is the only one that's been moving kind of east, while everything else is drifting to the southeast. So this one that's moved into Jackson County at this point is the only one that's really had an east trajectory to it. It's kind of doing its own thing. But again, these storms on these really hot days like this don't tend to follow the patterns you normally see with other days of storms. And I'm stepping outside here from the TV station, the west side of the building, just checking it out. It still feels like a sauna out here. It's just so hot and humid. And it looks like the strongest part of the storm has stayed in Jackson County. So we will see if the warning in Shawnee County continues or if they cancel part of it. Sometimes they'll do that. Sometimes they'll chop off parts of warnings. There's an update coming in right now. That's an update for Ottawa County, is what that is. Going till 8:45 p.m. for that warning. And almost surely this thing for Wabunsee and Pottawatomie is going to be gone here in a moment. It expires at 8:30. The warning for Shawnee and Jackson County, will be interesting to see what they do with it. They actually, the hail came down, and this they're mentioning a 1.25-inch diameter hail for that and 60-mile-per-hour winds for the Mayetta and Hoyt areas. And they say it's moving east at 40 miles per hour, half-dollar size hail. And this storm looks totally different than it did a while ago, but it's moving east at 40, and that's unlike any motion of any of the storm that we've seen. Everything else has been moving to the southeast. This is the only one that we've seen that's moving east. Everything else has been more of a southeast trajectory. The stuff in Clay County, I want to see the rainfall amounts there from the radar estimates. And there is a flash flood warning now in Clay County, which is that's what I expected to see, is there was just so much rain falling there. You know, not a surprise, but we saw some spots there with at least 3 or 4 inches of rain. Those bullseyes of yellow are 3 inches of rain or more. So we have a flash flood warning there from Wakefield to Longford. and there's more rain in the area at this point. Yep. Yeah, I guess so. It's fine. I may take a break for a moment to set something up back behind the set, but I will pick it back up. So if I take a 5-minute break here, I'll still come back and just momentarily. All right, the storm's not as intense as they were a little while ago. We had hail the size of baseballs falling near Manhattan, and we're near Wamego for a while. St. George and Flush had hail that large. And now the hail has come down to about the size of quarters to $half at worst case. And as we look out there in Chase County, this storm has hail the size of quarters and winds to 60. Down to the south of Marion County, about the same thing. We have not seen these storms start producing the extreme winds that are still a possibility, but we've seen the overall size of the storms coming down, at least so far. Sometimes when the sun goes down, we will see storms intensify, so I'm watching to see if that happens again. That can happen. And then this thing right here in the southern part of Jackson County, northern part of Shawnee County, has hail about the size of $half, the possibility with it. As it moves toward Mayetta and Hoyt, I'm going to check out the hail size here on the radar. And it looks like the biggest of it is almost to Mayetta. So again, there's a hail core there that could be up to the size of $half, moving toward Mayetta and Hoyt, and getting across Highway 75 there. So that is still a severe storm. That goes until 9 p.m. While folks that are in Topeka likely to see some rain shortly, but the severe storm part of that looks like it'll probably stay just to the north. Now, just because those storms look like, just because that storm's not as impressive as it was, doesn't mean it's the only thing going. Back here near Clay Center, you can see this area where storms have kind of developed over and over again. That storm developing after 8 o'clock just near Wakefield, becoming severe rapidly and then moving to the southeast. New severe thunderstorm warning for Geary and Riley going until 9. 60-mile-per-hour winds and hail the size of quarters with this. So there is this new warning for near Fort Riley. Keats, not quite to Manhattan. But the new severe thunderstorm warning popping up right there. So certainly not done at all. All right, let's check out this the view from Manhattan, if I can get that camera turned around here. There we go. It's from the Stormont Vale Health Manhattan campus. Going to look up in the sky a little bit there, and there's new severe storms coming toward Manhattan at this point. All right, so we have severe storm warnings in Jackson County, Shawnee County, Riley County, a little bit of Geary County, and then Clay County, all in severe thunderstorm warnings right now. And then Chase County as well. The ones for the one that's in Jackson County had lost some size, but it still looks impressive. Yeah, it's still a strong storm. Near Mayetta, Hoyt, so Valley Falls, Denison, Meriden, Ozaki should be watching this one closely. And any one of these things, after the sun goes down, we could start seeing these damaging winds. That's a real possibility. All right, so there's no tornado threat from what I see of this at all. If we were going to see tornadoes to deal with that, it would have been earlier in the evening, thankfully. So that looks like that threat is, you know, it's hard to ever say zero in June in Kansas especially. So, you know, I wouldn't. But today's risk of seeing tornadoes is very low. What we have seen, we did see baseball-sized hail earlier. It's been very isolated. And now we're seeing this extremely heavy batch of rain. It's moving toward areas like Meriden. Could see some heavy rain out of this. Hoyt, Ozaki, and also the risk of seeing at least some hail in this. The hail earlier was showing it was about the size of a $50. And the hail core now, and these storms have really, they haven't had a core that's just moving one direction. You know, they've really been kind of lava lamp shaped patterns as they just kind of pop up in different areas. You know, it's one kind of storm area, but you haven't had one, you know, supercell that's got a rotating portion and then, you know, a hail portion, and then, you know, the damaging winds lined up nice and neat like the textbook shows. It's a lot of this has been, you know, kind of haphazard patterns really. But now the sun is getting closer to setting. We have to start watching to see if any of these things become outflow dominant, and you can get a microburst of that kind of thing happen pretty quick with one of these. So we have to start watching for that. Mayetta, Holton, Hoyt, very close to that storm, and a new severe storm warning just issued going until 9:15. This is for hail the size of $50. So Valley Falls, Ozaki, Winchester in the path of this. And you'll notice that they did not take the bottom part of the warning that's in Shawnee County. They did not include that part of the storm in this new warning that goes farthest to the east across Lake Perry. So that indicates that the southern part of the storm is not impressing the Weather Service as much, but the northern part of it that's over Jackson County, the core of that looks strong now. Then this storm to the west that's in Riley County and the eastern part of Clay County, this one still has possibility of producing hail the size of quarters, and it is moving to the southeast. And the storm that's in Chase County is just edging to the southwest part of Lyon County at this point. And it still has hail the size of quarters, and when it's at 60 miles per hour, has possibilities in this. So these storms not quite strong enough to start breaking into TV like we did earlier when we had hail bigger than 2 inches diameter. You know, we cut into programming, or if it's tornadoes or, you know, super strong winds. I can tell you the wind in Emporia now is pretty strong. It is shaking the camera there. And then this downtown Emporia, you can see the trees swaying in the wind as they're very close to that severe storm that's in Chase County. So definitely windy in Emporia right now. The strongest part of that storm is certainly moving by Emporia. And then earlier we had the storm we were tracking in Wabaunsee County, and that's the back edge of this of that supercell. Is right there. This is now moving into Jackson County. I'll check out how it looks from 70th and Davis now. And again, these storms are not high-end severe like we had baseball-sized hail earlier. We've had some wind gusts of 60 and 70 miles per hour. We have not had anything close to a tornado, thankfully. But the strongest storm we have by far is this thing that is near Mayetta at this point and near Hoyt. And we can check that out. Sometimes this camera doesn't come in. This is the camera from KDOT at Highway 75 and County Road 150. Sometimes this one seems to give up whenever there's storms close by. Looks like right now that's the case. All right, so the temperatures right now are cooling, not as hot as they were. I'll bring up the radar here. And Bridge, I'm going to take about a 5-minute break here, so don't give up on me. I'll be right back in. About 5 minutes to prepare something here, and we will stay with the coverage here on the live stream. We're going to cover up the 9 o'clock show with this coverage. So stay with me. I'll be back on here in just a moment. All right, thanks for staying with us here on the live stream on WIBW.com, YouTube, Facebook, all these things. And we do not have any high-end severe weather, thankfully. We are tracking a couple of severe storms, and just letting you know where they're at. So near Mayetta, to Hoyt, Valley Falls. This is a storm with half-dollar size hail and winds to 60 miles per hour. The possibilities with this. It's right along Highway 75 at this time, and that storm looks like it has just stayed just north of Topeka at this point. It kind of really went around Topeka, fortunately. Unless you wanted rain, then unfortunately. But again, this has been a situation where some spots have seen wild amounts of rain, other spots seeing very little or nothing. In Riley County, we still have a severe storm warning in place until 9. This one has quarter-size hail, winds to 60. This is going toward Ogden and Fort Riley. It looks like it's losing some of its intensity as well. To the south, this storm now has a warning for the southwest part of Lyon County. And that area, we were watching Emporia a few minutes ago, and you could see the strong winds were starting to shake our tower camera there from the west side of town. The folks from ValueNet Fiber there in Emporia providing this camera. And you can see the, if it's shaking the camera like this, then it is strong wind. I can't say that it's over 60 miles per hour, but it does take strong wind to make that, that transmission tower rock like that. So the southeast part of Chase County and the southwest part of Lyon County, that looks to be very strong winds. And I can even see it now on the radar there. This is an outflow. That's an area of strong winds that are diving south and eastward into Greenwood County. And that's why it's so windy in Emporia now, is from looking at that, behind that feature. Okay, so we're saying 60 mile per hour winds in Lyon, and also seeing winds to 60 in Chase as well. It may be stronger than that, judging by looking at the that radar signature and the way it's kind of diving southeast there. So that part of the storm, that has the strongest winds I've seen today on anything. All right, now zooming back out, we still have severe storm warnings in Riley County. And we had seen storms developing over and over again in Clay County. And with that, we did have flash flood warnings issued. So flash flood warning there for the southern part of Clay County and the northern part of Dickinson County because of seeing as much as 3 to 5 inches of rain, and more rain is still possible in that area. So a flash flood warning has been issued there. And if we go back a couple of hours, you can see the rains developing over and over again in Clay County there. So now we have the storm that's in Riley County that's severe with hail the size of quarters possible near Fort Riley and Ogden. The core of that looks like it will stay to the south or west of Manhattan. But again, we've seen storms kind of developing over and over again in different spots. So you may see more storms. That's a real possibility. All right, so Mayetta and Hoyt, seeing strong storms right now. I'm going to take some frames out of my show here. I'll go back and show you the more of the features that are going on. So we have temperatures not as hot as they were. We had the heat index close to 110 earlier this afternoon. Now Topeka is still 92 degrees, and with the heat index still 101 in Topeka, even almost at 9 o'clock. Lawrence is close to 100 degrees, Kansas City 94. So areas where it has rained or close to rain, the temperatures and the heat index are much less intense. Looking out from Manhattan, from the Stormont Vale campus, the Manhattan campus there, you can see some of the storm clouds to the west and the beautiful colors of the sunset still lighting up some of those storm clouds. There's the back side of the storm that's in Jackson County now. You can see the downpour there on the right side of your screen. That's from near Maple Hill from the Capitol Federal Skycam. And the severe storm watch until 11 p.m. has had a few counties cropped off it now. Clay County is out of it. Cloud County, Clay, Ottawa, Marshall, Nemaha, and Brown County are all out of the severe storm watch. They were in the watch earlier. Now they've been removed. So the storm warnings we have in place now are far less narrow coverage than we had earlier. We have a severe storm that's in the southwest part of Lyon County, and I really think the winds there are stronger than 60 miles per hour, just based on how that tower camera was shaking and also the look of the radar there. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. It's in Butler, Harvey, and Marion counties. And then to the north, this one in Jackson and over into Jefferson County goes till 9:15 for winds to 60 and hail of the size of a $50. The northwest part of Shawnee County is in a warning until 9, but that part of the warning does not look, that part of the storm does not look like it's particularly severe. I'd say the northwest part of Shawnee County, it's likely that the severe storm parts of this storm is out of Shawnee County at this time. So for folks that are eats and beats, it looks like the storm is coming towards you. Now it looks like it's absolutely not. That storm that had a history of moving to the east ultimately kind of moved northeast. It's the only storm I've seen that did anything like that today, as it had kind of its own completely different motion. It was moving east when everything else was moving southeast, and then ultimately it started moving to the northeast, at least briefly, kind of going around Shawnee County. Let's check out the rainfall amounts, the Doppler radar estimates here, and you'll see that by far most of the area is dry. By far most of northeast Kansas has seen very little to no rain at all. But some spots have seen as much as 1 inch to 3 inches of rain. Southern Clay County, northern Dickinson County, the ones that saw by far the most rain. But, easily more than 90% of northeast Kansas has seen no rain today at all. All right, warning update coming in on Chase County here. Let's see what's up with that. Till 9:30 p.m. for Lyon County. And Chase County, how long are you going? Till 9 o'clock. So what do they have to say here for Chase County? Still till 9 o'clock. Storms moving southeast at 30 miles per hour, penny-sized hail, and winds 260 is what they're saying with this particular storm. And in the southwest part of Lyon County, the warning goes until 9:30. So folks around Olpe, along Highway 99, south of town, you could be affected by this severe storm. And it's winds to 60 miles per hour, maybe a little higher than that. And the hail is not going to be larger than a quarter. This severe storm that's in Riley County looks like it's certainly losing intensity at this point. Ogden, Fort Riley, Keats are near this, but it's losing its intensity. This storm that's in Jackson County moving to Jefferson County is by far the strongest one. As a matter of fact, it is now ramped up, and we have golf ball size hail possible with this one, as it is moving into Jefferson County shortly. And the core of that hail looks to be right about there near Denison. So Denison to Valley Falls, Nortonville, Winchester should be ready for hail the size of golf balls. And as I say that, I can also say that these storms have not been moving in linear fashion. We've had them kind of moving all over the place. But this storm moving toward Valley Falls certainly has just an amazing amount of rain falling in a short time. So you could even have some flash flooding there from this storm. And the northern part of that, the core near Denison and Valley Falls, by far the strongest part of that storm. Now let's check out the radar. I'm going to try to change the sensitivity here and see if I can pick out where the front might be. And there's several outflow boundaries that really make this a mess now I'm looking at it. Let's see, 3 different outflow boundaries there that all complicate this thing. All right, so picking out the location of a cold front will be about impossible at this point. There's still plenty of instability with this, so the possibility of seeing more storms developing in different places still there, no doubt. All right, so let's check out. I'm looking at the Storm Prediction Center kind of off the screen here. They still show 6,000 Cape, just kind of centered over, really centered over Jackson County. That is just amazing. It peaked at 7,000 Cape a little while ago. Woof. Wow. All right, so the cold front has not moved through yet. It's just kind of messy with the different outflow boundaries that are ongoing. And there's severe storms from Illinois to north central Missouri, through northeast Kansas down to south central Kansas. And this is, these storms are feeding off this extremely hot, humid day we had and a weak cold front that's moving in through this. So Valley Falls should be ready for hail the size of golf balls. Ozaukee, you should be ready for hail the size of golf balls. Winchester, Oskaloosa, you're close to this as well. And there's the hail core. The area of white close to Denison is surely the area where the biggest hail is falling. And that'll be in Valley Falls in just a few minutes here. Let's check the distance on that. From Valley Falls to the hail is about 8 miles. It was moving 40 miles per hour, so you could have that just really a couple minutes in Valley Falls. The southern part of that storm really lost some intensity, but the northern part of this has that kind of inflow notch look about it again. Right here, that does not mean tornado, but when you get that shape, it generally means these hailstorms are kind of ramping up again. So it's got a weak spin in it. I'm not trying to scare anybody that's a tornado situation. It's just it has a strong updraft and some weak spin and very large hail that's very likely going very close to Denison right now, and it'll be in Valley Falls in just about 10, maybe 15 minutes. It looks very similar to the storm that was near Manhattan and Wamego earlier that did produce hail the size of baseballs. So, you know, that's a very similar looking storm. Now, the storm in Raleigh County has lost a lot of its intensity. It looks like it's almost completely fallen apart at this point. Now that we're past sunset, we will have to see if anything can redevelop in that area. It's possible that it won't. Down to the south, the storm in the southwest part of Lyon County still has a warning, and 60-mile-per-hour winds are possible. And again, not to scare anybody, this is not a tornado situation. We dealt with very big hail earlier today. And I'm looking at some pictures from folks. There's a baseball-sized hail picture on our website now from Manhattan. Hail about the size of a golf ball near Holton. Several pictures near Manhattan that were near baseball size. All right, so again, the storm that's up here in Jackson and Jefferson County is the most dangerous storm we have by far. It has hail about the size of golf balls, and that warning goes until 9:15. The warning for Lyon County goes until 9:30. We had several places today with hail the size of baseballs. All right. All right, the instability continues. You know, and this weak cold front moving through could set off more storms. I see more storms developing right now, actually, right there near Oldsburg. That little shower has developed out of nowhere in the last, let's see, 7 minutes. So we saw that go from nothing to a thunder shower in just a few moments here. So it is likely we will see more showers and storms developing. This one in Jackson and Jefferson County is by far the strongest storm we have going, and it does have a little hook right here. Hooks don't always mean tornadoes. Sometimes just mean the storm is particularly powerful. In this case, it's a hailstorm, and this one behaving the most textbook of anything we've seen today, in that it's got the hail core just north of that notch. So if you're in Denison to Valley Falls, you are in the path of hail about the size of a golf ball. Rock Creek, you're going to see some heavy rain. Ozaukee, heavy rain. Winchester could see some of this hail as a possibility as well. This storm over to the west, this expires in about 1 minute here. The severe storm warning for Geary and Riley County. That's likely done with. That storm does not look like it's severe at all at this point. Down to the south, this storm continues until 9:30 for the southern part of Lyon County. although it will probably be out of Lyon County before 9:15. This storm has potential for hail the size of quarters and winds to 60 miles per hour, and it is mainly southwest of Olpe at this point in rural southwestern Lyon County. So we will see that storm in Lyon County continue to the south, moving into Greenwood County by 9:15. We will see this warning here in Riley County, most likely it will expire at 9 o'clock, so that will expire at 9 o'clock. I don't expect to see it reissued. And I'm looking upstream to see if anything else is developing around Abilene. I don't see anything else fresh that's developing over there. But near Clay Center, there's more. There's a new storm cell just west of Clay Center right now. This thing, we'll have to watch and see if that one intensifies, if it becomes strong or severe. And then this one right here, near Olsburg, that in the last 10 minutes has gone from absolutely nothing to a developing thunderstorm. You can see as I put the loop on here, you can watch the radar loop through as that storm is continuing to develop and mature over the western part of Pottawatomie County. And then this storm, by far the strongest thing we have going, near Denison, hail the size of golf balls, very, very possible with that. So Valley Falls and right along Highway 16, we've got hail the size of golf balls with this. We'll check out the hail core on this one more time here. And you can see that area of red just southeast of Denison, making its way toward Valley Falls. That could have hail the size of golf balls. A few minutes ago, the VIL, the vertically integrated liquid, which is the product we're looking at right here, was in the white category. That's a little higher of a probability than when it goes to red. So the hail a few minutes ago might have been bigger. There it was near Denison, or well over an inch, and then now it doesn't look as big. So it's going toward Valley Falls. And again, it still has that hook showing up in it. And I don't think that thing's giving up yet. So around Valley Falls and Ozaki and Oskaloosa, this storm moving east-southeast could produce some damage. Hail the size of golf balls is possible. The winds could be 60 or even 70 miles per hour. The storm in Riley County no longer has a severe storm warning with it. The Chase County warning was dropped at 9, and the warning for southwest Lyon County continues until 9:30 for winds to 60 and hail about the size of a nickel right there in Lyon County with that. And then we're watching this storm to the north right there near Olsburg that developed very quickly. I'm going to check to see the vertical size of that, see how far up we're going with this thing now. Looks like it's about 30,000 feet and still growing. We still have just an amazing amount of instability out there, so these storms are not quite done. All right, let's clear that. I'll bring up the camera Manhattan again and turn it. See if we can see that storm is developing over there. Now it's pretty anyway. There we go. So from Manhattan, that storm is near Westmoreland, Olsburg right now. It's about 30,000 feet tall. And it's not quite a mature thunderstorm just yet. It's getting there. This one is. This one's got a severe thunderstorm warning with it. And this one's probably producing golf ball size hail or close to it, just to the east of Denison, on the way to Valley Falls. 60-mile-per-hour winds, hail the size of golf balls. And that's going to impact areas like Ozaki, Winchester, Oskaloosa. You're all in the path of this. Again, it's not a tornado risk. And if you're watching us on my TV, we're going to continue with the severe weather coverage here. And we're preempting the show to keep going with the radar here to let you know what's going on. It's not a high-end severe weather day, fortunately. We had hail the size of baseballs in a few spots, and recently the storms are losing some of their intensity, but others are intensifying. So let's zoom more closely here. This is the worst we have going, is near Valley Falls to Ozaukee, almost to Winchester, with hail the size of golf balls possible, and winds to 60 miles per hour possible with this as well. So that storm's in Jackson and Jefferson counties. And it's moving to the east, and that storm was actually the only one that was moving east. Everything else is moving southeast all day. This one moved east and then ultimately jogged northeast a bit around Topeka, and now is moving kind of due east again. The storm to the north here, I'm watching very closely, near Oldsburg, is actually intensifying. Does not have a warning with it at this point. But near Oldsburg and just west of Westmoreland there, I'm going to see if there's any hail showing up at all on this one at this point. And probably is not yet. So that one's still growing. Now we don't have the same heat energy we did earlier in the day, but we still have temperatures that are extremely hot, and the heat index is still close to 100 degrees in a few spots. Go and back up here a few frames and see how hot it is still. So you still have a heat index of 98 in Topeka, 95 in Lawrence. The temperature is still 90 in Topeka. Lawrence has 88. Areas where it's raining, temperatures mainly in the 70s. Now from Manhattan, this is the view looking to the northwest. Look straight north, and I'm almost certain that is the base of the storm that's near Onega and Westmoreland at this point. Kind of right there in the middle of your screen, and you can see the updraft right in the middle, kind of where it gets bright there. That looks like the updraft to me, and that could develop into another severe storm. That's a real possibility with that one. And looking out from the Capitol Federal Sky Cam near Maple Hill, some beautiful colors there as we look off toward the storm that's near Denison and Valley Falls this time. We're looking toward that storm from all the way over there. Again, that's the severe storm right now. Goes till 9:15 for Jackson and Jefferson counties. 60-mile-per-hour winds, hail the size of golf balls possible with this. And again, that warning goes till 9:15. I'm going to back up. I want to see this camera in Manhattan again with you. So I think I see lightning now from the camera that's looking north from Manhattan. So again, that's from the Stormont Vale Health Manhattan campus and looking to the north. And I'll step out there in front of the camera again. So we have there, and this is a new camera. We had a camera at Flint Hills Discovery Center for a few years, and now we have this new one that is at the north side of Manhattan at the Stormont Vale Manhattan campus. So this is an updraft right there. This is a developing storm that's near Onega, kind of close to Westmoreland, and that one's drifting to the east at this point. But I have seen some lightning in that cloud over the last couple of minutes here, and I really think that one's developing. I'm not sure if it's going to go severe or not, but that's a new one that's kind of developed out of nowhere. Now you see lightning flashing in there, so there is lightning with this. All right, so that one is developing, and whether it becomes severe or not certainly is in question at this point. But out of the new storms that are developing, that's the one that's been developing most rapidly and could become a new problem outside of the ones that have already existed. So there's a new severe storm warning just issued here, and this is going to be for Jackson, Jefferson counties, going until 9:15. That makes no sense. This one goes till 9:15 for Jefferson, Jackson. This one goes till 9:45. There we go. All right, so 9:45. So new severe storm warning now issued that goes for Winchester, Oskaloosa, Valley Falls, McLouth until 9:45. They're saying $half size hail, winds to 60, and radar indicated. So let's check out the text on this one. And the National Weather Service says this goes till 9:45. Severe storm near Valley Falls, moving southeast at 35. 60-mile-per-hour winds, $half size hail, radar indicated. And again, moving southeast 35 miles per hour. So that's a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued, going until 9:45 for this storm that's coming out of the Valley Falls area, moving toward Oskaloosa, McLouth, Ozaukee. And again, that was going until 9:45. Could have winds to 60 miles per hour and hail the size of a $50. Here's our storm to the north of Manhattan, as I was showing you a few minutes ago, just over near Oldsburg and Westmoreland. And let's put this back into motion. You can see it develop really from nowhere 20 minutes ago up to a decent-sized thunderstorm at this point. And it does have some lightning I've seen on the tower camera there, although it's not showing up yet on the radar system here. Maybe because they're not striking lightning, maybe just cloud to cloud at this point. So near Oldsburg and Westmoreland, that's a new storm developing. Randolph's a little shower that's developed as well. So along that same boundary, that's probably the cold front itself. Down to the south, the storm near Emporia in Lyon County is no longer considered to be severe. It has lost its intensity as it moved into Greenwood County. It looks like it basically fell apart. So this one to the north, across the north side of Lake Perry, is still severe at this point. All right, hang on just a moment with me. All right, thanks for staying with me here. Again, we have a severe storm warning in Jefferson County at this point. Ozaukee, Oskaloosa, McLouth. You are on the path of this if you're watching us on My TV. We're going to continue with severe weather coverage here, covering up the 9 o'clock news on My TV. We will still have our 10 o'clock news on 13 News, of course, but we're going to keep going with this severe weather coverage here. There was a risk of seeing hail the size of baseballs and even winds to 80 miles per hour. The baseball-size hail did happen. We had reports of that near Manhattan and also near Wamego earlier. Fortunately, we have not had anybody with 80-mile-per-hour winds, but we can't rule that out yet. So there's Jefferson County is in the biggest storm we have going right now, and it includes Jackson County until 9:45. $50 size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. The worst of that's near Ozaukee at this point. And I'll check the velocities here and see if we have any strong winds. From Valley Falls to Rock Creek looks to be the strongest wind in there. But again, so far today we have not seen anything that looked to be particularly wild winds, thankfully. Okay. Okay. All right, so I thought we were on My TV. We're not. It's Hogan's Heroes there. I thought we'd have this coverage on My TV as well. My bad. All right, so if you're watching us here on the live stream, we still have storms going toward Oskaloosa, Ozaukee. Hail the size of golf balls possible with this. Winchester could have winds to 60 miles per hour. It's a possibility for you. And again, this warning goes until 9:45 p.m. Zooming out on this, I'm watching this storm over near Oldsburg and Westmoreland. This storm developed after 8:50. You can see from 8:50 there was nothing. As we get up to now, you have a pretty good sized thunderstorm there. And most of the activity there, it's not a severe storm at this time, but it's developing. So that's the view looking to the north from Manhattan, from the Stormont Vale Manhattan campus. And there has been some lightning with that storm the last few minutes. It doesn't look like it's expanding rapidly. There's still some lightning there north of town. So while it could become a severe storm, right now it's not edging that direction. So maybe, just maybe, we'll continue seeing a weakening trend with this, even though it's just that cold front looks like it's still there. So I don't get too excited about things falling apart just yet. All right, so still watching that stuff in Pottawatomie County and Riley County that's kind of developing. And that could be a whole new wave. So, you know, we're going from nothing to storms there now. To the east, this is from the old storms, and this one is the strongest thing we have going by far. And again, it has a possibility of hail the size of $50. And when it's to 60 miles per hour, and it's moving to the southeast toward areas like Oskaloosa, McLouth, and ultimately Tonganoxie. It moves into Leavenworth County in a while. That storm, that's the same storm that has a history of producing baseball-sized hail. That's the one. And it's been going for a long time, and it's the only one that was really going east for a long time. Now it's moving southeast and behaving like the other storms. There's new activity developing up here, just right on the edge of Donovan and Atchison counties. That's attached to the stuff over Missouri. It's all part of the same cold front. And this activity up here from Oldsburg to Westmoreland and Randolph is the most quickly developing of any activity that's ongoing. But again, I have my eyes on it with the weather camera that's from the Manhattan Stormont Vale Health Manhattan campus. So if that one starts to mature and look more like a supercell, I would be able to see that very well at this point. And I don't see that. I see lightning with it, but it just looks like a general thunderstorm. Doesn't look like anything dangerous. All right, so again, Ozaukee, Oskaloosa, Valley Falls. This is a severe storm. Hail the size of $50, winds to 60 miles per hour, and it is moving to the southeast at 35 miles per hour. And that one likely would stay to the north of Lawrence, although it'll be close. Then this stuff over here is what's been developing. So let's check out the heights on these. We're over 20,000 feet with this one, which is not huge. You know, we expect to see them close to 50,000 if we're going to see them severe. We'll see how big this one is near Oskaloosa at this point, and Ozaukee. So you've got returns easily over 30,000 feet for the really heavy stuff. So you go 50,000 feet, it's not going to be as intense up there. But the yellows and reds in there that show up, that's going to be, you know, 40,000 feet sometimes. This activity that's in Pottawatomie and Riley County so far has stayed below severe limits. So we will see if it stays that way. But again, that stuff is developing more quickly than anything else that we have going on. We'll see what's up with these storms down in the south. 70 mile per hour winds for Harper and Kingman County. And looks like 60 mile per hour winds for Barber, Clark, Comanche. And again, the biggest one we have going is this right here. So Oskaloosa, be ready for hail the size of $50. Winds to 60, a possibility there. I have an update on that storm coming in from the National Weather Service here, so let's read it. Weather Service says 9:17 p.m. Severe storm located 4 miles northeast of Ozaukee, moving southeast 35. 60 mile per hour winds, quarter size hail. Radar indicated. So that is this storm right here, heading toward McLouth and Oskaloosa. It's like it has just passed over Lake Perry at this point. And you can see an hour ago it was much bigger in aerial coverage than it is now. So that storm is losing intensity. It's still severe, but earlier it's producing hail the size of baseball, so it's not as bad as it was. Randolph, Oldsburg, Westmoreland. That's where we have that thunderstorm that's been developing from 8:50 until now. It's continued to get bigger in aerial coverage, and that'll be drifting southeast toward Manhattan, probably toward Topeka. And there's still a lot of heat and humidity in the atmosphere. Topeka and Lawrence both have very hot temperatures still. Check out the latest data, what we have in the capital city and from Lawrence. The heat index was still close to 100 degrees just a few minutes ago. There we go. The temperature right now in Topeka is 90. Lawrence has 88. And the heat index values are 98 degrees Topeka, 95 in Lawrence. Kansas City feels like 92. There's that view from Manhattan looking to the north. And again, we're seeing lightning with that pretty frequently at this point. And that storm, from what I'm seeing, has it's getting stronger, but it's not becoming something that looks like it's almost severe. It's just the fact that it's continuing to grow is why I'm paying so much attention to it. Capital Federalized Storm Tracker from Maple Hill. Things have calmed down there. That's where we're looking at hail near baseball size a while ago. And then here's your storm. The worst one we have going right now is right there in Jefferson County, going until 9:45. Hail the size of quarters, winds to 60, and it's radar indicated. So as you loop this, you're going to see it losing its size, and you're losing some of the reds and the darker purples in there. So this storm is not as impressive as it was, and it's very likely that that warning won't make it all the way to 9:45. But it's going to have strong winds near Oskaloosa, right along Highway 59 and Highway 16, heading toward McLouth. Again, quarter-size hail is possible with this, and wind gusts of 60 miles per hour are possible with that. Down to the south, we had a severe storm warning for Lyon County and Chase, but that storm just absolutely fell apart. Look at this. In southwest Lyon County and southeast Chase County, that storm went from a big severe storm warning to suddenly barely raining. It fell apart very quickly. Then to the north, you can see this new energy developing after 8:50 p.m. near Oldsburg to Westmoreland. And again, that storm does not look like it's rapidly getting to severe limits. I can't rule it out, but I don't think it's going to make it. And then to the northwest here, I'm trying to figure what's up with Haddam and Morrowville. I think that might be, I'm pretty sure those are wind turbines we're seeing up there. Almost sure of it. So I don't think that's new development. I think those are wind turbines. All right, so Randolph, Oldsburg, Westmoreland. These storms are getting stronger. They have lightning with them. They're not severe at this point. Oskaloosa, McLouth, Winchester. These areas, we still have a severe storm in progress. Hail the size of quarters, winds to 60 possible. And the warning goes to 9:45. I have a strong hunch here that warning won't make it to 9:45. I think it'll probably go away right about 9:30. That's my guess. Over in Missouri, look at this line. That's tornado warning for Boone County in Missouri. And really weird to see a tornado warning at that position on a line of storms moving southbound. That is really strange. I can also tell you that that location is very far from a weather radar. I can tell you that because many moons ago, before I came here, I worked in Jefferson City at KRCG, and we had to use radar from St. Louis, Springfield, and Kansas City. So when you had a tornado close to Columbia or close to Jefferson City, you were more than 100 miles away from each one of those radars. Just very difficult to read radar from that far. So that storm over there with tornado warning, radar indicated, that it's just so difficult to deal with those. I'm so glad to be over here. I'm so glad to be in Northeast Kansas for many reasons. All right, Oskaloosa, you have the severe storm warning still in progress. That storm is losing its intensity a lot, and I don't think that one's going to make it even to 9:30. That thing's going to get canceled any moment here. So the lone severe storm warning we have in Northeast Kansas, heading toward Oskaloosa, you could see a wind gust of 50 or 60 in Oskaloosa. I don't think it's going to have any hail with it at all at this point. McLouth, it'll get windy. You'll have some rain. You'll have some lightning. But that storm is not close to what it was a few minutes ago. And the activity up here in parts of Pottawatomie County and the northern part of Riley County looks like it's losing its intensity a little bit as well. So it was severe. It was becoming stronger. We had some lightning with it, and this activity up here looks like it's lost a lot of its intensity as well. Hey, Bridge, can you guys hear me in there? All right. So we don't have, we're not on my TV? Okay, I thought we were. Okay. Was there a reason? Okay, I got you. All right, so we'll break this thing off at 9:30, okay? All right, so let's check out the rainfall amounts here over the last 6 hours. And you'll see that this is not a situation where we had a lot of people get massive amounts of rain. This is a situation where there were really isolated locations that got a lot of rain. So most of Topeka didn't see anything at all as far as rain goes. Just storms kind of went around. From Mayetta to Denison, Valley Falls, you know, some of these bullseyes are more than an inch of rain. You know, but this is a situation where I mentioned several times the last couple of days that you could see, you know, one spot with 2 or 3 inches of rain and somebody else 5 miles away with no rain. You know, so this is what I really expected to see happen. You know, it was impossible to say which locations would get the higher rain amounts, but it was pretty obvious that we'd have some spots with a lot and some other spots with not very much at all. So just south of Wakefield, looks like one of the bullseyes of higher rain amounts there. And the Weather Service put out a flash flood warning, or flood advisory actually, until 10:45. And they say 1 inch or 2 of rain have fallen, and another 1.5 inches could fall. So that's a flood advisory there in southern Clay County and northern Dickinson County. The severe thunderstorm warning for Jefferson County has now been canceled early. I also expected that. And off to the east, these storms in Missouri, I'm going to see if any of these have particularly nasty winds with them or a particularly big hail. And we've got golf ball size hail along the line. A tornado warning near Hallsville, Missouri. That storm's 70-mile-per-hour winds, tornado possible. My least favorite kind of warning. And just southwest of Wichita, these storms are considered severe near Kingman, Harper, and Sumner counties. So northeast Kansas, things are calming down, but we did have some wild weather. Here are the reports. So near Valley Falls, we had 0.8 of an inch diameter hail. That same storm had 2.5 inch diameter hail near Denison at 8:48. Wow. Holton, 1 inch diameter hail. I want to see hail vision and go back to 8:48 and see what kind of value the radar was showing at that time. So 8:48 p.m. Denison. So right there. So because the air mass is so hot, even up aloft, the computer program was indicating the hail is about 1 inch diameter, and it was 2.5 inches. So that's amazing. So that's why we were seeing hail amounts that weren't adding up a lot of times on the hail vision versus what was actually happening. So we had some areas of very big hail. Over around St. George and Flush, we had hail that was baseball size. So this one right here north of St. George, 2.8 inch hail. And then near Manhattan, look at all the hail reports around Manhattan. Just a lot of them. There's one 2.5 inch diameter, and if you can't tell, it's probably hard to see which report that actually says that. It's this one right here. So that's the one that says 2.5. There you go. At 7:17, hail quarter to tennis ball size at 7:17 p.m. So that's the north side of Manhattan. but we had a lot of reports of hail across Manhattan. Maybe a lot of people with dents in their cars, no doubt. There's 1.8 close to downtown. Yeah, there's a lot of cars with dents in Manhattan, no doubt. Oof. All right, Bridge, we're going to go ahead and end the live stream here. I'm going to turn off the microphone. We'll get ready for the 13 News at 10. So let's shut this live stream down, and we'll see you guys on 13 News at 10. Thanks for staying with us.